Open your ears and lube up your butthole. It's time for the What Do We Call It podcast. Now, here's your host. It's Jmann. Welcome to the What Do We Call It podcast. I'm Jmann.
This is Steiny.
Hello. You have a child who drives.
Yep.
This episode is about somebody we know who has a child who drives.
Yeah, okay.
So this person's child is female.
Yes.
Is a year and a half older than your son, so 17.
Okay.
Months ago, this person, for whatever reason, jumped a curb and hit a fire hydrant. And fucked up the front quadrant of their passenger side of their vehicle. Fuck! And our mutual friend put the car back together over time with new parts.
Oh, okay. Good for them.
Never got the story as to what happened, but there was theories about distracted driving, or maybe it was that this gal was an inexperienced driver who got spooked by bumping the curb and then jerking the wheel the wrong direction, and there just happened to be a fire hydrant that came out of nowhere.
Yes.
Well, recently that same child was driving down a major thoroughfare.
Near their house?
Kind of.
Okay. I know this person you were talking about.
Yes. Okay. Rear-ended another car.
Oh.
And as it turns out, the other car was another teen.
Oh.
Neither one of them knew how to handle it.
Of course not.
So the gal called her mom, who panicked, and called the cops to meet them. And the cops came, and they wrote up a report with each child's name and the insurance info.
Okay.
And an address, but no phone numbers.
Weird.
And our mutual friend, I can't remember if he went to the site of the crash or not. I think so, yes.
Mm-hmm.
And did not think to take any pictures.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. So then the next day, his significant other, were having a discussion about how to handle this. And our friend wanted to go to the address on the police report to talk to the parent of the other teen to see if they could keep it off insurance.
Okay.
And the significant other had a conniption fit about it and was like, that's a creepy thing. You don't just show up at somebody's house. And it's like, I don't have any other means of getting a hold of them. There's no phone number in the report. The cop neglected to put it in there. What am I to do? I'm worried that I didn't take any pictures, and I don't really recall how bad the damage was to their vehicle versus ours. And I don't want to get wrung like a rag because the insurance is in my fucking name.
Yeah. Before the advent of phones, really, the only way to get a hold of people was to go to their door and talk to them. But anyway.
And I was of the mindset that that's not creepy.
Yeah.
You explain the situation. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of contextual data that makes it not creepy because you're showing up with an intended purpose saying, I'm so-and-so. I'm the parent of the other kid that unfortunately rear-ended your kid.
Right.
And I wanted to have a conversation, and there's no phone number in the police report. So here I am. Could we talk?
Right. Worst they can say is no and close the door.
Yeah. You're not going there with ill intention.
Right. Going with a weapon.
Our friend doesn't look like me. I look like I'm ready to kill somebody at any moment of any day.
Yeah.
I can't help it. My face is stuck like that.
Yeah.
He's jovial and has a nice face. A welcoming face.
Man pretty in some ways.
I don't know if I'd go that far.
Just kidding.
But he does have a luscious thatch of pubes, we hear.
The man pretty comment was from about 15 years ago. He used to call himself man pretty.
Did he?
Yeah, back when he had his longer locks.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
He was younger.
He was.
He was sexier.
How you fellas doing?
On top of the don't go to the house because it's creepy, there was a, well, what if you get shot angle?
Oh, that went extreme.
Very serious, yes.
Yeah, I was going to say, of all those scenarios, I guess, yeah, that is one of them. But that you could get shot going out your front door on any given day then. You know, that's a what if you could say any day of your life.
Yeah, but I will give some credit to his girlfriend for saying this. 'Cause, yeah, you could get shot. It's highly unlikely. The stakes aren't that high. They can just shut the door on you or just look out the window and then call the cops. And then you're like, oh, well, here's why I was here. They're not just going to open the door and be like, who the hell are you? Bang! Like, where does that happen besides Baltimore, Milwaukee, Memphis, anywhere in Texas, major parts of California,
Most of the
Florida,
South,
Atlanta?
Yeah.
Where besides those places?
I mean, unless they got a sign up that literally says shoot first, ask questions second. Or, you know what I mean? Or,
yeah.
You know, I mean,
that would be kind of a red flag.
Yeah.
So I'm giving like contextual information here as to the conversation. Mm-hmm. I tried to help our friend out. I'm like, wait a minute, I thought of something. Because first I said, go to the house. And then I'm like, call the school. Because Your girlfriend's daughter said she recognized the kid from school. So you call the school. You say, here's the situation. You give the name from the police report. They might say there's no student here by that name. Maybe they can't even confirm it. But all you got to say is, I'm one of the guardians of this kid. I need to get my contact info to the other kid's parent. Could you ferry the information to them, and then the ball's in that parent's court to call you? You've done your due diligence. You hopefully don't get fucked. But it's a happy medium. He doesn't have to get shot.
Yeah. There's another obvious solution.
Go on.
You have these people's address, right?
Yeah.
I know it's real old-fashioned.
Send a letter.
Is such thing as a letter, a correspondence. I mean...
It might take 2 days and a forever stamp, but yeah.
Right. You might have to find an envelope. I mean, I don't know if you have those on short order. But...
Don't necessarily write the letter with a bunch of cutout letters from magazines, lest it look
no
like
matter
a 1980s
how pretty you may think
ransom
like,
note.
Yes. Where would you find magazines in this day and age, right?
Digital media.
Well, and that's what I was thinking. You know, how many people have access to a computer printer? You just type up something real quick. You don't even have to handwrite it because most of us have shitty-ass handwriting. Sidebar. My son lost his license yesterday, so we had to go to the DMV today to get a new one. Mm-hmm. And he was supposed to sign and print his name. And it's my son. I love him. But, man, the schools have done a really bad job with penmanship over the last, say, 20, 30 years. Like, most kids cannot... it was a struggle to watch him print his own name.
Well, my writing is obviously very juvenile and chicken scratchy, but you can read all of that, right?
Yeah. Discipline, licking in schools. Yeah.
Lacking.
Yeah, I know.
But it could be licking, too.
Licking sounded fun.
Just licking them when they're misbehaving.
Yeah.
So anyways, he did end up going to the house.
Okay.
Touching base. That's not the point of why I'm bringing this all up.
Oh, I thought there might be a story there.
No. There's a reason to this, and it's because you have a child that drives, and I have children that will drive, and this kid, our buddy is faced with a situation because this girl has had 2 accidents that are semi-serious in an 8-month period. She's only been driving for like a year and a half. She's 17. She's on his fucking insurance. Right.
Ugh.
So, how do you handle it if you're him? You tell me what you think, and I'll tell you what I told him.
So... You know, without knowing some of the details of how they have the breakdown of who pays for the insurance, like maybe there's something where he's being reimbursed the insurance from the girl's mom.
She works.
Type of thing.
The girl works.
And pays him back for her portion of the insurance. Yes. So it's basically he's still footing the bill. At some point, the insurance is just going to become too much. It's going to become untenable. I mean, an underage driver with basically a limited license or whatever it was, provisional license as they call it, and 2 accidents, he could just flat out say, you're too expensive to insure and I can't do it. And then that girl loses her privilege until she can possibly drive again or afford it herself. Because you're right. At what point do you keep giving her chances? The whole distracted thing. I remember that instance with the
fire hydrant.
Fire hydrant. That was just one of those where you're like, what the F? How? Like, how? It's one thing to, like, hit it. It's another thing to get up on it. Like, how did you manage that?
Yeah.
And it's not like where they lived it's real fast or speedy. And, yeah, I don't know what you could have been doing that would have somehow got you to
It was
do
a
that.
residential area where it happened.
The quietest as you can get, pretty much. I mean, I know they're kind of off a major intersection, but they're tucked away.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah.
Okay, so what you said is fairly close to what I told him.
Okay.
And I'm like, you need to go baseball style. And it's 3 strikes and she's off the insurance.
There you go.
And she's already got 2 fucking strikes. Whether or not she has had them go against the insurance. You just say, I can't trust you to drive safely. You seem to freak out and get distracted and have no fucking discernible explanation how it's not your fault, even though I have my theories.
Mm-hmm.
Or you just say, you're done. I'm not going to do this. If you can't go to work, tough shit. This is the consequence of you not taking driving more seriously. Because what if she would have hurt that other kid?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Hurt herself. Yeah, I mean, she's lucky the first one was an inanimate object that felt no pain, right?
Oh, my God, yeah.
Yeah.
But again, our buddy's the one with the name on the insurance. It's his policy. He's added this non-custodial child and her mom, who he's not even fucking married to her.
Yeah, but they're at that phase where everything's being split, I'm sure, down the middle, because they pretty much have a house together. They're
not in name.
Well,
not in title.
Well, I suppose not. I shouldn't make assumptions.
Not in financial burden.
But everybody's situation is different, and they work those things out themselves. So I really can't speak to something I probably have no basis for, and I don't want to offend anybody. But you're absolutely right. At what point do you just say, I can't afford it, and it's now your problem? Like his fiance's problem.
Right. Like my wife has her own insurance policy now because she got something cheaper than what I had.
Okay, right.
And it's just cheaper for me. I don't know why. Probably because I have a multi-car discount plus the house plus a good driving record with no speeding tickets ever.
There you go. You're the golden child when it comes to insurance.
So when it comes to my daughters, they're going to be on mine. My stepdaughter will be on hers.
Makes sense.
So it's like, well, if we were all under one roof still, everything completely intact, and we were all on the same policy, we'd be adding all the kids.
Right. It wouldn't make any difference then.
So if it was my stepdaughter doing this, I'd have the same attitude. I'd be like, no, you can't be on my policy. You're a shitty driver. Start riding your bike everywhere or get rides, and I'm not going to give them to you. Learn the fucking hard way. Because I didn't have accidents like that when I was a kid. And I was on my parents' insurance, and I knew that if I fucked up, I was in big trouble because it would affect my parents' insurance.
Yeah. That was always the fear of why you didn't fuck around in those early days when you first got your license. Because you were still on mom and dad's, and they were going to lose their shit.
Yeah, I had a few,
make it go up.
I tried to make a U-turn in a bad spot once, and there was I didn't realize a tree stump sticking up some.
Oh, okay.
And it fucked up my power steering, which then caused me to hit a parked car in the parking lot in college.
Yeah, because it's so hard to turn without
power steering. Which I then parked in a different spot and didn't say anything ever to the person whose car I hit, because that's what you do when you're a teenager. You might hit another car, and then you try to get away with it.
It was a side strip mall. There used to be a bookstore called Schindler's down there by Old Country Buffet.
Oh, yeah.
And I went to park, and there was one spot open out of this day. There was no other spots open, and both the idiots on the other side basically had their tires right on the line, so the space was even more narrow than it would be normally, right? So I go and I pull in there, right? And there's absolutely no room to get out. Like, I literally would have had to Dukes of Hazzard it, and then
out the window.
Yeah, and the person to my right wouldn't have been able to get in their car. So I'm like, fuck this. I'll start to back out. I'll go find something else. Well, I'm backing out. It's a Chevy Beretta whose mirrors stuck out way too far for whatever reason. And there was this nice new Mustang right next to me, and it just went peeled back this 1/4-inch wide strip of paint, like 6 inches long. Right as this lady was coming out and going, oh no, you want to give me your information? I'll stick around and I'll wait. And I'm like, no, that's okay. I'll just stay here. So I act like I was putting my car in park, and I waited till she went down a few rows, and then I just got the hell out of there.
Because that's what you do.
Yeah.
If you go the wrong direction down a parking lane and then you try to swoop into a spot and you hit a parked car at Rosedale Mall, you drive away.
Yeah.
Especially because your friend's like, dude, don't panic. There's nobody, just go. I'm like, what? I hit a car. He's like, go, 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 go. And I did, because he fucking told me we were in the clear. I was scared.
Nope.
And he preyed upon that.
And did you ever get in trouble for it?
I did not.
There you go. And it was in the clear.
And the beast has hit so many parked cars, it's not even funny. Most of them in a parking garage in downtown Anoka. If your car has been hit in the parking garage off of Jackson Street in downtown Anoka, there's a 1 in 10 chance it was the beast.
Well, that's because she worked there. So, I mean, she was regularly parking in that ramp. But
right,
I
she
still
worked
don't
in the area.
understand how you could... Anyway.
Stupid people doing stupid things. Fuck you. So, here's the thing. You have to do something. You can't just continue to let her drive the way she has been, because she's not a reliable driver. And I haven't really heard what action he took. If he said to her, the next time you fuck up, that's it. You're on your own. You'll have to get your own policy, and you probably won't be able to afford it, so you won't be driving, so you won't be working. I mean, that's what he said he was going to do. So we're just going to go and err on the side of caution that that's what he said.
Gotcha.
But I still feel like there's way too much leeway and understanding under that roof.
I guess it depends on who was the one teaching her how to drive, too. Like,
I don't even know.
Yeah, that was going to be my other question, is because that's a whole different can of worms. I won't even open up that.
Right.
Because at least if it was him teaching her how to drive and she was getting into all these accidents, he could go, well, maybe I just need to go out with you more. I need to show you better how to drive. But
well, yeah, because you took your boy driving.
A bunch. Like, his mom only took him a handful. I say handful, less than a handful. Like, we're talking maybe 3 times she took him out.
You got to get him lots of behind the wheel time. And I'm going to have to do that with multiple kids.
And the thing you got to remember, it isn't about all this stuff. It's just about them getting comfortable. And so, yeah, they just need the hours. They just need the time. That's all it is, you know.
But you talk about the precedent or the mindset of, I don't worry about myself behind the wheel. It's all the other cars on the road. But when there's teenage girls fucking, popping a wheelie onto a fucking fire hydrant or rear-ending a car in fucking slow-speed traffic, God damn it. Yeah. And there's thousands of these types of kids on the road fucking it up for the rest of us.
I remember growing up, it was always watch out for drunk drivers. You got to be wary of drunk drivers because that was the most dangerous thing out on the road.
According to my mom, even in the daytime.
Yeah. There were day drinkers and stuff like that. You'd have to watch out. And now it's even worse. I mean, for a while there, you had the ambient drivers, but now you've got the distracted drivers, the people on the phone, the kids who have never had a good attention span.
Oh, God.
That ADD and ADHD kids out on the road too. So, yeah, I mean, I'm really impressed with how good drives. And he's told me he had a couple incidences where it's slippery and he, almost hit somebody, but he didn't, and that's a win. And that's basically what driving is. You're going to have close calls. Unfortunately, there's going to be times where you don't and it becomes an accident. But if your track record is 2 and 6 months or 2 and 9 months after you got your license, you might be in for a long run.
Doesn't bode well.
No, I had a kid in high school, a friend of mine. He hit a dog on his driver's test. Instant fail. I mean, this kid basically...
Hang on. Let me process the fact that you said instant fail like there was any other option for hitting a fucking dog. I'm thinking of the video game Paperboy, where you run into the dog and then that day is over for you.
Yep.
It's on to the next day or it's game over. But it's just like he hit a dog and instant fail, as if it's like, there was a dog there. I'm going to have to take a point off.
Right. Like, well, let's just get it back. Let's do the rest of the test and see how it points up.
All right, I guess let's go do the 90-degree turn and then the parallel park. We'll just hope for the best for the rest of the test.
Maybe the points will add up. You just never know. So this was the kid that after he got his license, he then hit a cow one night.
What the fuck?
I know. I would not let him live that down. I'm like, what did it do? Bolt out in front of you? Like, how do you hit a fucking cow?
I could see if you were Earthworm Jim how that would happen.
Right?
As you're rocketing through the universe and a cow comes out of nowhere, but a fucking cow.
Right. And especially back in Chisago, those days, a lot of the roads were dirt roads, side roads, so you weren't going that fast anyway, maybe 35, 40 miles an hour. So.
Just a rogue cow?
Yeah, just a rogue cow. And
Did it die?
No, I don't think so. But I think they had to put it down. So I guess in that instance, it died. But it didn't die from the hit. It died from a broken leg that they were just like, beef.
And then it was delicious.
And then they're like, it's what's for dinner.
Yeah. Did the dog die?
I think so, yeah.
Okay.
Like he straight smashed that.
Oh, fuck.
I know. That was the worst part. Like, oh my God. And you had to go back and tell somebody that you killed their dog? He's like, I didn't go back.
Not only did I fail my test, your dog is dead.
Yep.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
So, anyway, to go back to our friend's daughter, that doesn't lend itself well. You know what I mean? If you've got kind of that mode where you're either not paying attention enough or for whatever reason you're just accident prone, maybe driving isn't for you. Like, you shouldn't be in control of a vehicle that could kill something else.
Maybe driving isn't for you. It sounds like a fucking ad campaign for like Mothers Against Drunk Driving.
Yeah, if you can't put down the bottle.
Hey, I'm perfectly good driver. It's not my fault that all these kids on bikes are in the street in the middle of a cul-de-sac that I turned down by mistake.
In the middle of the day. Well, what
fuckers, it's stupid summer vacation. I don't see how you don't clamp down. Fuck if you discourage her. I think I would even, in addition to the 3 strikes, say, you better be fucking perfect in every regard for 6 months, or I'm canceling the insurance for you on principle alone.
Well, that's the thing. Not only is it like no other incidences, but I mean, yeah.
What if she hits a person next? Or a dog?
Well, and that's it. You know what I mean? If somebody really wants to go and say, was there a pattern of this? Well, yeah, unfortunately there was.
But we kept it off the insurance because we went to this other person's house and had a discussion with them about giving them some money.
They don't know about that.
Right.
Yeah.
God, it could be worse. It could be a person with a dog.
I just think it's funny how she thought it was shady to go and do that. And it's like, it's pretty normal, actually. So many people do that to keep stuff out of insurance.
Yeah, you don't want your insurance to go up.
Right. And if there was really nothing more than a slight scratch here and there and nobody got hurt, there's no harm.
Well, as our friend explained it to me, I will give the significant other Mrs. a benefit of the doubt here. He's like, she was a little hysterical because she was spooked. When I brought it up at first. And then another 24 hours went by, and she calmed down, and we discussed it again, and we decided that we would handle it with me going there, and he did. He left a note.
I mean, it was good that he was able to rationally explain it to her.
So I'm not just trying to, like, shit on his girlfriend, like, oh, you're going to get shot. Like, that is funny. I laughed my ass off when he told me that. I'm like, Jesus Christ, talk about a bridge too far. That's beyond the pale, but also it's America, so maybe not. But then she calmed down and was more rational the next day. I'm just glad that he got to the point where he fucking solved it.
Yeah.
Without any other fuckery, knock on wood, that we know of yet.
And to be honest with you, I mean, there's also the idea of what neighborhood he lives in, too. It's not like...
Very quiet.
Yeah. It's yeah, I wouldn't be too worried.
Interact with the show on Twitter at What Do We Call It? That is at What Do We Call It? You can find us on Facebook at facebook.com/group/What Do We Call It podcast show. For the What Do We Call It podcast, I'm Jmann.
This is Steiny.
And that's the end.